All right. We are live on the air. Peace forever and always, and welcome to another edition of what we call the Realist Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. I am the hold on. I ain't done this so long. I forgot about it. I gotta cancel this other thing. Okay. Ain't done the live hang on it so long on the computer. Forgot about that little technical thing. Anyway, I'm the mighty one, Angel Snow number 7, your soul brother number 1, and have a special guest with me tonight, our soul sister, Noble Levine, and due to technicalities beyond our control, she couldn't be with us here live, but I have her here with me on speakerphone, and we're not going to spend a whole lot of time, but we just wanted to give our little two cents on the latest Negro, I call it Negro antic, by this sister, Jasmine Eiland, I believe that's what her name is.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna let you go ahead and kick this off, sister.
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about Jasmine Eiland and Monique Williams, the guy that we all thought raped her inside a nightclub in Atlanta one day last week. He sexually assaulted her. I do believe that, you know. But she herself wrote to a friend online on social media saying that I was not raped. She wrote that herself. And, you know, when I watched the video last week, I saw with my own 2 eyes this woman's breast exposed. I saw Dominique Williams grabbing her breast. I saw footage that Jasmine Eiland herself recorded live on Facebook. I saw footage of her exposed vagina, her exposed breasts. I saw Dominique, you know, grabbing her breasts at one point. I saw Jasmine Eiland totally incapacitated on the dance floor as this dude continued to allegedly sexually assault her inside a nightclub here in Atlanta. And I thought about Sodom and Gomorrah. When I saw that, there was another story also, you know, that is terrible. It's equally terrible about a woman that was in a comatose state inside a nursing home in Florida, I believe. It was in Florida. Who gave birth to a child. Now, she's been in a comatose state for many years, and the suspect has been apprehended. He is a black male, unfortunately. And, you know, that was another story that made me think about the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible. And let me explain. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, Sodom and Gomorrah, God destroyed the cities because of homosexuality. A lot of people think that that was the only reason why God destroyed the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah because, you know, the gay men. Let me explain one thing. Not only were the men of Sodom and Gomorrah, both young and old, not only were they raping men, they were also raping women as well. And, you know, I can take you to some Bible verses and prove to you that God did not destroy those cities just because of homosexuality. There were a few things that God had against Sodom and Gomorrah. And I'm going to go to Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 49 and 48. I'm sorry, 48 and 49. As I live, said the Lord God, Sodom thy sister hath not done, she nor her daughters, as thou hast done, thou and thy daughters. Behold, this was the iniquity of thy sister Sodom, pride, fullness of bread, and abundance of idleness was in her and in her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and needy, and they were haughty, and committed abomination before me. Therefore I took them away as I saw good. What Ezekiel the prophet is saying is that the Lord said that Judah was worse than Sodom, her sister. Judah was worse than Sodom at the time that Ezekiel received this word from the Lord. And, you know, according to these Bible verses, God did not just destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because of the sin of homosexuality. The Lord said that Sodom was full of pride. The people of Sodom were full of pride. Pride, abundance of idleness, fullness of bread. In other words, they had prosperity. They were prosperous. They had plenty of food to eat, but they did not strengthen the hand of the poor and needy. Also, the Lord said they were haughty. So, you know, I just wanted to, you know, explain that, you know, because a lot of people are under the assumption that these cities were destroyed because of gay men. Now, you know, the men of Sodom, both young and old, they wanted to rape the two men that came into Lot's house. If you are familiar with the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, they wanted to rape the two strangers that came into the city and came to stay in Lot's house. So the men of the city, both young and old, gathered themselves around Lot's house, and they demanded that Lot give up the two men that was in his house. He came outside the door, shut the door behind him, and told the men that they could have his two daughters. But they didn't want the daughters. They wanted the two men that came into Lot's house. They were two strangers, but they were two angels that came into the city. They were two angelic beings. The men said that I would do worse to you than to them. They told Lot that they would do worse to him than they would to the men that came into his house. And the angels reached outside the door and pulled Lot back into the house. And, you know, the angels blinded those men. They blinded the men. Now, a lot of people realize, okay, yeah, they wanted to rape the two angels. They wanted to rape the two men who were angelic beings. You know, I know that, you know, a lot of people would disagree with me when I say this, but these men of Sodom and Gomorrah were not just raping men, they were raping women, and they had to have also been raping children as well. They had to have also been raping children, because I can go to another verse in the Bible to prove this. I can go to another verse in the Bible. Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 6 to 9. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemn them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. But that righteous man dwelling among them, and seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. That's not the verse that I want. But I still read it anyway. Okay.
Well, in Sodom, what brings us to speaking about Sodom and Gomorrah is this story, and also is this story about with Jasmine Eiland. Also, we wanted to point out that most people believe that and I did also because that's what I was taught. I never heard no other thing. But just like you just pointed out, that the city of Sodom and Gomorrah was charged with a lot of hideous things, and the God wanted to punish them for a lot of different sins, not only this homosexual behavior, but as you pointed out, they also were accused of rape of women and children. Also, you did mention, we talked about this before we came on air, speaking about they also was guilty of not providing for the poor and the needy.
Not strengthening the hand of the poor and the needy.
Yeah. So it's just more than just a homosexual thing. But we bring Sodom and Gomorrah to our attention because, and it's in line with this Jasmine Eiland case, because things of this nature should not be a shock to us. No. Because of the environment that we currently live in. And actually, like we were saying prior to coming on air, what's happening today is really, really, I mean, what Sodom and Gomorrah was doing really ain't too much of nothing compared to the stuff that's going on today, especially when we have access to all this technology. And actually, the people are just in worse shape for real. I mean, they are just for some reason attracted to doing wacky things. And that's why I don't, it's very rare that I would even speak upon any case in the news, because I understand that to concentrate on the development of the human being is much more important, and the development of a better society and a better people, because if you better the society, better the individual, these things you don't even have to deal with, you don't have to work, they don't even, these types of behaviors would diminish. But I know that you don't have a lot of time. I did want to speak about this Jasmine Eiland rape case, and it seems as though I've been following it. I want to send a shout out to Tanya TKO, because a lot of my information and what I know about it comes from watching her, because she really been on the case really from the beginning all the way to the end. And like Sister Tanya says, she says that it seems as though we've been tricked as far as this being an actual rape case. Because one thing is that we've been told that the young lady, Miss Jasmine, she's not willing to file charges. Now, anybody dealing with the law knows that Jasmine don't have to file charges. But the police can do it on their own, and she still have to go if they decide to do it. They can, the police can take it upon their own if they feel there's sufficient evidence or whatever. They can file charges on their own. But she has not. They said that she has no interest in pursuing a criminal case. Why would she want to do that if she was raped like that? And then see, there's a lot of questions. The first question is, and Sister Tanya pointed this out, which should have been a red flag. How many people actually would have a cell phone in their hand and then actually take the whole experience of being raped? Because usually when something like that, don't your phone fall out your hand, or the perpetrator throw it out your hand or kick it, or they're not going to let you have a cell phone in your hand. But it was very convenient that during the whole incident, not only that, but remember, she was taken into another room with the cell phone. I think that should have been a red flag. And this Dominic, what's his name? Dominic Williams? What's his name?
Dominic Williams.
Now, according to his testimony, he's saying that the young lady basically was going, you know, that's what she wanted to do to make her husband jealous. And he knew about the phone they was taping, because it's all part of making the husband jealous. And that would explain the fact that she was allowed, because I mean, how many rapists? That's the first time I ever heard of. Matter of fact, a rapist ain't gonna hardly let, because you can use that as a weapon. You can use that phone to throw it in there, you know, hit them in the face with the phone, or, you know, nobody gonna allow you to have something in your hand as a weapon. But he said that she said she was wanting to make her husband jealous. And now it goes back again, back to where it was talking about, it seemed as though she was drugged.
Yeah, regardless of whether she was trying to make her husband jealous, she was incapacitated.
Right.
She was unable to consent to any sexual acts of any kind, because you can see her slumped over. You can see it. And she looked like she was taking something out of her mouth at one point. Like in the video, it looked like she was removing something from her mouth. You know, and I'm thinking she was drugged. I'm thinking that somebody put a pill in her drink. Somebody did something.
How about she just?
She was slumped over. And he's, you know, even though you could hear her saying, "Stop, no," you know, he still kept going. At some point, you know, it became sexual assault at some point. Whether this was a setup or not, it became sexual assault at some point, because she said stop. She said no. But he kept going on.
Now, didn't you say
that speaks to just the way the society operates, you know. You know, like it's a rape culture. Everybody keeps talking about a rape culture. It was a rape culture inside of Gomorrah. And you know, the surrounding cities in that area, it was a rape culture then. And they weren't just raping men; they were raping women, and I do believe they were raping children as well. And I got the right verse. You know, Jude chapter 1 and verse 7. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication. Giving themselves over to fornication. Now, you know, that's usually sex between a man and a woman. Fornication. That's what it is. The definition of fornication is sex between a man and a woman.
Unmarried.
Unmarried. Exactly.
Okay. You was also saying
flesh, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, or set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. You know, and you know, that's why I say, you know, we're in Sodom and Gomorrah. We're in the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. That's where we are now in 2019. You know, and you know, it's just sad that, you know, the world is the way that it is, you know, today. You know, with all the pedophilia and, you know, women being assaulted and raped, and, you know, children being molested. And I was molested when I was 5 years old. Sexually molested at age 5. And I remember everything. You know, that's something that you just don't forget if it happens to you. You know, unless you was 2 years old and it happened to you, you might forget it. You know, but I was 5 at the time. You know, that is something that will stick with me, you know, the rest of my life. I will always think about it. You know, I can say that I'm not traumatized by it, but you know, I still think about it.
Well, you know,
I still think about it.
See, that's the thing. Also, we really don't even know if this here was it a, you know, we don't know if this was real or was it a setup, because there are two other factors here, and we talked about that too before we came on the air. You said that you had heard that she was sent somebody a post saying that she was not raped.
Yeah, no, I said that earlier. I said she wrote somebody on social media saying I was not raped, but she was sexually assaulted. So that's the thing. See, I don't understand why people don't they don't know, you know, the difference between consenting, you know, and non-consenting. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know the difference between consensual sex and non-consensual.
Yeah.
You know, whenever somebody tells you no, stop, immediately you should have stopped. It doesn't matter whether, you know, it was a setup.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. When somebody says no, stop, that's when you stop.
Right.
You don't keep going. You don't, you know, even you know, you just don't keep going. You know, and I don't think that a lot of men are being taught, I guess. They're not being taught or educated on consensual sex versus non-consensual, because they just don't get it. You know, they don't get it. This is you know, this is a very wicked society in which we live today. You know, I'm just glad I wasn't raped. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest, because I got lucky. I'm just gonna be honest, because I have been in situations where I should have got raped. I'm just gonna be honest. I've been in situations where I could have been raped, but you know, I got lucky. You know, or it's a divine providence. You know, you know what I mean? I'm just being honest. You know, that I could have been sexually assaulted as an adult. Anything could have happened to me. I could have been drugged in a nightclub. I mean, I'm going to clubs. I've gone to clubs. You know, I don't go to clubs now. Now I don't do it. You know, but when I did do it, I could have been drugged. I could have been raped in a club. Anything could have happened to me. You know, and then I used to go to the club by myself. You know, I just got lucky. You know, I got lucky because I could have been a victim of sexual offense. Yeah. And rape. I could have been a victim as an adult of sexual assault and rape. You know, I was not raped as a child. I was sexually molested. You know, I do remember that, but you know, it's you know, a lot of people, you know, when they're 6 years old, 5 years old, they're raped. They get raped, and therefore they become traumatized from that. You know, and a lot of people are walking around here traumatized from childhood experiences such as rape. You know, and such as sexual molestation. They're traumatized. Yes. You know, I'm glad that I'm not traumatized. Yes. That's all. I'm happy about that. You know. Yes. But it's just some wicked times in which we live. You know, Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, and when I saw, you know, the videos on Jasmine, Eiland, and when I saw the video on, you know, where they actually showed the face of the nurse who raped the comatose woman, and they showed his face on TV. He was a black male, and I saw that. When I saw these news stories, my mind immediately went to Sodom and Gomorrah. Because a lot of people, like I said, is under the conception or misconception that God destroyed those cities because of the sin of homosexuality. But in actuality, it was a lot more than homosexual behavior or acts. These men wanted to rape these two men, these two strangers that came into the city. They wanted to rape them. But they were also raping women too. Lot offered his daughters to them. You know, so obviously they were raping women. And like I just read in Jude chapter 1 and verse 7, you know, they practiced fornication. They practiced fornication and went after strange flesh. Fornication, we know the definition for fornication. You know, it's sex between a man and a woman who are unmarried. You know, that's the typical definition, biblical definition of fornication. You know, so you know they practiced fornication and went after strange flesh. You know, so you know, it's just. These are just the last days in which we live. These are the last days in which we live. And, you know, it's imperative that people give their life to Christ, accept him, you know, as their personal savior. And, you know, just repent, you know, of your deeds, repent, you know, and because you're going somewhere when you leave here.
So,
whether you go to heaven or whether you go to hell, that's, you know, that's up to you. I'm just saying, it's up to you whether you go to heaven or go to hell.
So is this,
so
when we look at this,
that's all I'm saying, honey. I'm good. You know, because I didn't want to talk long no way because I'm going to go to church.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm going to go to Bible study.
So when it's all said and done, I know that you have to go. So I mean, is this case is it a hoax? Because
I mean, she was clearly sexually assaulted.
Because remember also, because we got a credibility problem, because also, you know, before we came on air,
her credibility is bad. It's real bad.
Yeah, because
credibility is real bad. I'm just gonna be real. You know, but the videos can't lie. The videos don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
She was incapacitated. She was just incapacitated. And you can hear her say, no, stop. You know, but her credibility is not good either, because, you know, well, she got some videos out there, some great fantasy videos online. Yeah, she got some great fantasy videos online on Pornhub.
Yeah, Pornhub.
Pornhub. And, you know, her credibility is not good. No, it's not. It's not.
And her husband, I think it's her ex-husband, they both involved in you know, the porn industry, I would say, and also he's an aspired rapper.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think, because and they might be involved in some other things. Maybe that's one of the reasons why she decided she don't want nothing to do with pressing any charges.
Yeah.
Because they might be involved in some stuff that you don't want other folks to be snooping around in.
Yeah.
Because, you know, this man would have to have a defense, and his attorneys definitely would have to be looking into what these people are about.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah. So.
I mean, it's, you know, we still living in a society where women are being raped.
Yeah.
You know, women are being raped every day.
Yeah.
Somewhere, a child is being raped. A child, a woman. They rape men in prisons.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it's still a wicked society.
Yeah. So my thing also, you know, before we're gonna bring this to conclusion, because I know that you have to go. See, this is the reason why I don't get involved in what I call Negro antics, you know, because the Negro or black folks, whatever you want to call ourselves, I don't know what we want to call ourselves nowadays, but they have learned how to manipulate the media and for their own self purposes. And that's why I usually, since matter of fact, I really stopped getting involved in a lot of these different individual cases because of that Tawana Brawley case way back in the 80s. And it turns out, and nobody can say, they found the information showing that Tawana Brawley, that was a hoax. They made up something to get this New York prosecutor. They tried to get him in trouble. And Louis Farrakhan was in on the deal. Really Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton was leading the way. And when they found out, and you know, the evidence just was, you know, you couldn't just deny the evidence. Found out that this was a hoax. I said, I'm not getting involved in no more Negro stuff. I feel sorry, you know, for the real victims. And another thing too, these victims' families, you know, they take these awards, these monies, and really they just become millionaires off the tragedy of their supposed to be loved one, which myself, I don't think they gave a damn about them people until they became a gold mine. You know, and so, you know, because after Trayvon Martin's people got paid, because they got paid. And Freddie Gray's people got paid. And what's the name? Rakia Boyd's family in Chicago, they got paid. You don't hear nothing. The only one that really continued to make raise their voice about the death of their loved one was the daughter of Eric Gardner. And you know, she mysteriously died. You know, mysteriously. You know, I don't know. See, a lot of things, especially in this society that we live in, a lot of cases it's not mysterious because they can, you know, they can murder you. They don't have to shoot you no more with a gun to assassinate you. It's all kinds of gases and different kinds of drugs that they can get close to you, and you just be, you know, the only thing we want you is to shut the hell up. We don't have to put a bullet in your brain no more. You know, there's a case with the United States government. They are angry. I don't know which one it is. I don't know if it's Russia or it's the United States, but somebody's spy was murdered via some type of radiation poisoning. And the United States is going back and forth with I forgot who spy it is. But anyway, again, like I said, you don't have to be murdered by a gun no more. It can be done by other way. It's certain poisons. The only thing you got to do is barely touch it, and you'll be a dead person within a few hours, if not within a few minutes. So that's why I don't get involved. I really don't get involved. It's very rare that you will see me even talking about, you know, things of this nature, you know, these types of cases. But it also goes to show us that we can't continue in this direction. And you bring up Sodom and Gomorrah, which is a prime example. And whether you believe in God or not, the outcome, whether it's by God's judgment or by the judgment of your own, this is not going to, because even Rome and Egypt and all these other ancient cultures, they fell. And I guarantee you, they did not fall because they were, as they say, righteous. They fell because they guilty of some type of wrongdoing. I can guarantee you that. So it's just a matter of time before you end up being self-destructive, or either you put yourself in a position where it's easier for an enemy to come just wipe you out overnight. And that's what's happening right now. We're living with in the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, which we call the United States of America, or the modern Babylon, some call it.
Yes.
So, you know, I mean, I'm just glad that you were able to spend a little time with us, and we'll have a little bit more time. I'm pretty sure this is a conversation a lot of folks would like to get off into. But of course, like I say, on this forum, we really don't talk about what's in the news and things of that nature. I'm more into, let's solve the problem. You know, whether you believe in God or not, to me, righteousness is the key. That's the key. And you don't have to be a believer in God to be righteous. Now, if you want to enter the kingdom of heaven and they got this criteria or whatever, I mean, you can do that. But you don't have to be a believer in God to treat another person the way you want to be treated. You know, to make sure women are safe and protect your women and your children. And to take the homeless people off the streets. You know, all those types of things. If we did those little things and respect one another, stories like this will begin to diminish.
Yes.
As simple as that. But with that said, sister, I know that you got to go. I want to thank my chat room, Sunshine, Universal More, those who on Facebook. I forgot to address my Facebook family because we also simulcast on Facebook. I got people in my Facebook also. Thank you, Sister Noble. And maybe Sunday we can get together again. I don't know, possible. Hope to see you again soon, because I do, contrary to popular belief, I do have Christian brothers and sisters who come and they listen to Angel Snub Number 7, and we good friends. So, you know, I know some of y'all, you know, y'all may not believe that, but it is. I've always had Christian brothers and sisters on this forum.
Yes.
So, and they can come to this house and they can talk and speak the way they want to speak. And we all respect one another here.
Yeah.
You know, so.
All right. well, thank you for having me on. And,
Yes, ma'am.
And, we'll talk later.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll talk later.
Yes, ma'am.
Hopefully, well, Sunday might be a good day.
Yeah, we might try a little bit something. If we want to, we can continue this conversation, or we do something brand new, however you want to do it.
We'll do something brand new.
Yeah. Okay.
All
right, y'all. We're gonna be out of here. Hate for the hangout to be so short, but things, that's how it rolls sometimes.
I got my points across. I'm good.
All right. Okay. All right.
I got my points across. Yeah.
All right, sister. Be safe, and and send the greetings to the pastor at the church for me.
Oh, okay. Greetings.
Yeah.
To my pastor.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not gonna tell her name because somebody wrote a nasty letter.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, I do.
Somebody wrote a nasty letter to her.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell her name.
Yeah.
Yep. Somebody was folks are evil on it. Anyway.
Well, it is Sodom and Gomorrah, right?
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Peace, sister.
Bye-bye.
Peace, everybody.
Peace.
All right, we out.